Just hopping on here today with a little heartfelt message. My heart goes out to a number of people that I've been speaking with lately who are really struggling in their relationship with the push and pull dynamics of wanting to express their needs to work things out with their partner and feeling like that makes things worse. And then trying not to make things worse. And so not saying enough and then feeling like a doormat and feeling like there's no place in between. All there is saying things that make it worse, or not saying anything and then kind of caving in and being unseen. And I wanted to let you know that I completely understand what you're going through. And there is a third option, but that third option requires connecting to a completely different place inside yourself. We learn how, like, we grow up in the world modeling and being modeled to and taught how to relate at a level that's more about communication skills and behaviors, like things that we can do to try to get the situation that we want. And I don't mean that in a selfish way. I just mean like we're a human being trying to do the best that we can to live life and experience love. And so we try to connect with our partner by, what do we say? What do we like? What's the right tone? What's the right phrasing? What's the best communication? Or how do we handle it? How do we what's the best strategy for how to communicate? And what I have found is that it doesn't actually matter what you say or do. To some degree it does. I mean, you could be obnoxious and then you would get really bad results. But in the realm of trying to be conscious and sensitive, it doesn't matter if you're polite or direct. Either way, if your energy is disconnected from the divine inside you, it puts you in a state of push and pull. That's what you're feeling, is this state of push and pull. You're feeling it with your partner, but your partner is just reflecting it back to you. And then everybody's doing this, so I'm not blaming you when I say this. It's not like you're the problem. You're not the problem at all. This way of trying to communicate and connect is the problem. And this is the way that we were all taught. So there is another option. There's another way, but it takes stepping back from the situation and learning a new way to be inside yourself. You have to rebalance your relationship with the divine inside you. And I think that might sound woo-woo, okay? But it's actually the most practical thing on the planet. This is what has saved me from a life of soap opera drama in relationships. Sorry, my camera's getting a little weird. I'm going to give you an example. And this example is not an intimate relationship example, but hopefully it will help you understand how different the approach is that I'm talking about. And also, I want to let you know, I don't want to leave you stranded to feel like, okay, great, you told me about the approach, but now how am I supposed to learn it? Okay, this is what I coach people in when I work with people. So there is always that opportunity. So many years ago, I was part of a tango community, and tango communities can be a little dramatic. And I had a special connection with, happened to develop. Actually, I ended up having a spiritual heart connection with one of the visiting maestros who came to teach tango, who lived in Argentina and came with his partner to teach tango. They would come for 3 days and teach workshops and do a little dancing and all that stuff. So he asked me to dance at one point, and I danced with him. I was having a very bad day that day, but somehow my heart opened in connection with him while we were dancing, and his heart opened too, and I could feel our heart energy merging. So this is one experience of what it's like to connect with the divine, when you can actually share that connection with somebody else at the same time. It's pretty amazing. So I had this experience with him, and it opened up an outstanding connection. Okay, I don't want to say it was special, like he couldn't have that with anybody else, but he didn't actually know how, because sorry, I'm getting in the weeds here, but basically, even though I was having a bad day, I already knew how to connect with divine love in my heart. And I found out on the third day how he was able to pull me into my heart, even though he doesn't know how to do it. I asked him, he doesn't know how to do it. But he mentioned in the workshop that when he dances with a partner, he tries to feel the love in her mind. And when I heard that, I was like, oh, that's what happened. Even though I was that night having a bad day and I wasn't feeling my heart, when I danced with him, he went with his intuitive sensitivity to feel the love in my mind. And he pulled me into my heart. And when he felt the energy of me landing in my heart and connecting with that divine love energy in the core of my being, it pulled him into the same place inside himself. And then we danced around with these shared heart spheres. And it was a beautiful, beautiful thing. So this was the basis of my connection with him. And what ended up happening was the other ladies in that tango community got jealous. They felt like, well, their complaint, which was passed to me through the grapevine, was stop maestro hogging. So they felt like he gave me attention that they couldn't get from him, and it made them jealous. And they thought maybe I was blocking them from getting dances with him or something like that, which was completely not the case. So I'm actually getting to the story I wanted to tell you. We're talking about push and pull now. So this maestro was coming to town again after I had gotten this message from the ladies of tango to stop maestro hogging, and I felt outcast and upset, uncomfortable. But and I also felt that the person who led the tango community was no small part of the unpleasant attitude that was or unpleasant message that was conveyed to me. So when these visiting instructors were coming to town, there was a plan to have a barbecue on the third day, and the location of the barbecue has yet to be determined. There were 3 or 4 options of people that would host, and we didn't know. I didn't know yet where it was going to be. No one knew yet where it was going to be. And I heard in the quiet of my own mind at one point, go help the person who's going to host the asado, the barbecue. Go help that person prepare her house. It was most likely going to be a woman. So it was go help her prepare her house, whoever she is. And I said, okay, I'll wait to find out who it is, and then I'll let her know. So I'll offer. So it bounced around to this person, that person, this person, that person. And then it landed on the leader of the tango community, who I felt the most clear. Like, I didn't know who else was jealous, but I knew that she was definitely behind the kind of judgy message that I had received. So when I found out that the asado was going to be at her house, I was like, oh, really? So let me ask inside again, do I still do this that I was commissioned to do inside my heart? And the answer was yes. Go help her prepare her house for the asado. And so I want to bring this back for a minute here to the control versus the doormat. Okay. If I were in conventional, normal human dynamics, I would be thinking and feeling, how do I, how do I make this relationship with this person better, so that I can, like, I've been told to go and help her prepare her house. But if I go and help her prepare her house after she's been so mean to me, then aren't I acting like a doormat? Don't I need to tell her, look, I'd be willing to help you prepare your house for the barbecue, but I need you to not be so mean to me, or sorry, I have to respond to something. I need you to not be so mean to me, or I need to talk about this thing, whatever, right? Like, I need to work this out with you so that I feel emotionally comfortable with you. And I could decide to do it in a very direct manner, or I could decide to do it in a kind of very polite or an indirect manner, or whatever I might try to do to get the best result. The idea being that I'm working on the relationship relative to my own emotional well-being, and trying to work it out with her so that my emotional well-being is taken care of. And then it kind of depends on what she does, and what could I do to get the best outcome with her and get the best, like, behavioral results from her, so to speak. What actually happened was the third option, not the push, not the doormat, not the control, not the doormat, not the anxious, not the avoidant, but actually the third option. And the third option is that I am not trying to control myself in relationship to her. I am not trying to control her. My primary interest is my relationship with the divine in relationship to her. That's the third option. That's the option that takes you completely out of the push and pull, rock and a hard place dynamic between anxious and avoidant, or controlling versus unseen doormat. So what happened was, I got that answer. I asked inside. I was like, okay, now I know who it is. Do I really still go and do this? And I got the answer from inside the core of my being. Yes, go prepare her house for the asada. Go offer to prepare her house for the asada. So I did. I sent her an email and I said, I'd love to help you prepare your house for the asada. And she accepted my offer. She was a little bit dumbfounded, although she didn't say that to me. She said that to the person who had delivered the nasty message to me. She said, did you put her up to this? And that other person said, no, I didn't. So I went to her house and I worked for 4 hours doing whatever she asked me to do. I did not feel comfortable with her. I did not feel uncomfortable with her. I think that our communication was a little bit awkward, but it didn't really matter because the purpose that I was there for didn't depend on awkwardness or not awkward. But for the entire time that I was driving there, working there, and driving away, my heart was full of love and joy. I was in complete bliss. I didn't need anything from her. I didn't need her to be nice to me or not nice to me. It didn't matter at all because my guiding relationship in that situation was actually my inner relationship with the divine. So I had a lot less needs because I was so full of love and joy, I didn't have any emotional struggles in relationship with that woman that I needed to work out. I didn't need to work out anything because I felt amazing. And I was listening to that voice inside guiding my actions. So I wasn't bouncing off of her, trying to get her permission to be approved of in the tango community or anything. Like, I was completely not engaged in the soap opera that she had offered me, because I had prioritized my inner relationship with the divine. And that took care of my inner emotional comfort. And it also took care of the question, what do I do? What do I do here? And God said, help her with her house. And then God said, okay. And that was it. Now you go on to the next thing. So when we apply the same approach into our intimate partnership, we don't settle for things to stay awkward. Like, it didn't really matter what happened next in my relationship with her, because she and I didn't have a close relationship. So when it's an intimate partnership, it's more important that things circle back around to intimacy. That's the whole point of the relationship. I mean, that's like a major premise for why you are together in that relationship. So that's the bar for what is normal, right? The bar for what was normal and okay with me and her was, it's okay if she and I never talk. When it comes to an intimate partnership, the bar for what's normal and healthy is actually feeling intimate connection on a regular basis. So it's a little bit different in that sense. However, it is not different in the sense that when we take this third option about how we go about relationship, we by connecting with divine love in the core of our being, we eclipse or omit or lose a whole set of needs. There's a whole set of emotional needs in relationships that actually comes from feeling disconnected inside and then looking to compensate for that by feeling connected to our partner. And that is that's a source of pressure in communication, in relationships all over the place. And this is how that pressure is removed. When we connect inside, then we're no longer looking to compensate for the disconnection we feel inside. So there's a whole bunch of emotional needs that just get wiped away. And we no longer have to stand up for them or try to get them met. And then the other thing is that instead of bouncing off our partner, wondering whether we're doing the right thing by talking about this or not talking about this back and forth between, how do I handle a difficult situation with my partner? Do I talk to them, or do I just make it worse if I'm going to talk to them? Or do I not talk to them, and then I don't feel good and I don't feel like I can connect, and I've got unresolved emotions and I feel unseen and I feel like a doormat? Instead of all of that, when we're connect with divine love in the core of our being, that divine love gives us the direction for what to do, what to say. And it's not like, okay, God, what do I say? God says, say this. Okay, I say this. It's not, you're not a robot. God is inside you. God is the most core aspect of self. And when you actually find how to listen to that energy in the core of your being, you will feel more like yourself than ever before. You will feel more grounded and rooted in aligned authenticity, and it feels amazing. It feels amazing because God is the core of your being. I'm using that God word. People can't stand it. Some people can, some people can't. I'm not putting a trigger warning on this video. But anyway, that So that gives us clarity about how to move with our partner, what feels right to say, to be in alignment with ourselves. And then even if our partner has a little beep fit or whatever, if it doesn't land well with our partner, the fact that if indeed we spoke clearly in that moment and we were coming from an aligned place inside ourselves, then that allows us to feel steady inside and not feel like, oh no, I did the wrong thing. Oh no, I'm not worthy of love because my partner had a reaction to what I said. Now, usually when you speak from that place, you get a better response from your partner. I've been able to effectively, one experience of effectively telling my partner off from the heart. It was an issue that we fought about regularly, but in that moment when I spoke from my heart, like literally, like I was feeling my heart blooming with divine love, and I was telling him what a jerk he is around this particular issue of always pushing for sex and always asking for sex, even when there's no sense of connection. That's what the issue was. He totally could hear me and he totally agreed with me. He's like, you're right, I'm such a jerk. Whereas every other time when I approached it from the push-pull dynamics of I'm trying to defend my space and my what I need, and he's defending what he needs, it was always a fight. But the time that I was able to actually do the third option, which was to connect with the divine inside myself and speak to that issue, I was able to tell him off. Didn't feel like telling him off, but I spoke very directly and he was able to hear it. So the likelihood that your partner is going to be difficult when you come from this place is extremely reduced. But it could happen. And if it does happen, when you come from that place, you know that they're just going through something and maybe you can help them with it. Maybe you ask them questions to help them with it. But it doesn't shake you unless you get shaken from your awareness of the interconnection. Anyway, that is the option. That if you're sitting there asking yourself, what do I do? What do I say? What do I not say? If I say something, I lose. If I don't say something, I lose. And I feel stuck. I made this video today to try to help you see that the answer is the third option. And the third option starts with your interconnection with the divine. Because when you speak from that energy, things go differently on multiple fronts. And that is the secret to creating heartfelt intimacy. That's what I'm here to share with people. So I hope that you found this clarifying. And if you want any additional help from me, just reach out to me in a private message and let's have a conversation. And otherwise, I will see you later this week. Okay, take care.